No, no.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Cal.
Hey,
Hey,
I've got my video up, stuck in traffic, so
that's okay. I remember LA traffic. I remember California traffic.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, Andrew, Andrew Zappa.
Yep. I it sounds like you're breaking up a little bit. I just heard my name, but I'm not really sure I heard the whole question.
Well, hello everyone. Hey Plexi, good morning to you.
Michael, it seems like you have a lot of money, right?
Oh, I mean, not quite in my possession, but that's a near-term goal.
Okay, makes sense, yeah.
How's everyone doing in, if you want to call it a journey? I completely melted during, not melted, but I just completely froze during practice this evening, talking about taking a product from concept to launch. And I'm like, I've done this so many times and I just froze. So that's why I'm trying to bring money. Like, hey, I'm just tired, y'all. It's like, oh well, remember frameworks, but you really don't have to remember frameworks. You just got to cover like the important stuff, you know.
It's all good. We'll do some more practice.
I think you did well because you covered some of the core context of the app. So it was just, I think you got in your head a little bit. Once you're like, oh, this is not where I want to take the question. I was like, no, just keep going. You can recover.
Thank you, Vanessa. Yes, you and Tia were both very gracious and supportive. And I'm like, hello, like they're not gonna kill you. Why? What's the big deal? So I did not recover. I am working on that. Anyone want to share any good news? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna finish up with one of my mentor back in university used to say practice instead of practice makes perfect. It says practice makes permanent. So the more you practice, the better you get at it. So yeah.
Sorry, Vanessa, can you repeat that?
Oh yeah, I was just saying how one of my mentor in university used to say practice makes permanence instead of practice makes perfect. So you're not striving for perfection, you're just striving to be better and to become more accustomed to what you're trying to get better at, essentially.
Ah, okay, I like that.
Yeah, because at Rise 8, we have a rubric for our product sense interview, and it's all over the rubric. We're not looking for correctness. We want to understand what was their thought process. And every candidate is rated on their autonomy during product sense. They also check for, did they check in with the stakeholder? How clear were the assumptions? Did the assumptions evolve? What level of prioritization? What kind of frameworks did they use? How did you know that they were prioritizing? What was the North Star? What were the metrics? Any mention of OKRs? I have a rubric and I still can't give.
It's fine. I think in the real world, sometimes when you're in the middle of building a product, sometimes you might start out with some metrics and just have to do away with it and just let the market tell you what you need to reprioritize. And that was what essentially like we just experienced over practice. So yeah.
I'm just thinking of how we currently do it. It's like there's at least 5 of us. We have our balance team, we have the PM, we have the designer, and we have the engineering. And there's usually 2 other people for backup because not no one holds all the information,
Sure.
So
Oh no. Rich is too far away to connect with us from Korea.
anyone have any interviews? Prepare for case studies? Any interesting communication? Oh, hey, Rich. You could now
Oh
host your own meeting. Woohoo.
my gosh. Sorry about that. They're supposed to have the best Wi-Fi in the world. It's not really feeling that way these days. Anyways, my name is Rich. I'll be helping you guys out today. All right. So while you guys were waiting impatiently, okay. So, those of you guys that are coming back to the calls, Mondays, I hope you guys craft messages. We're doing applications. Wednesdays, mock interviews. At the end of this call, I'm going to be pairing you guys up with some mock interview partners. And then Thursdays is case studies. Please bring in case studies. Somebody I won't name names was like complaining like, well, you guys don't do enough case studies. And then I like posted up like 8 case study videos. And then she was like, well, and then she's like, well, what about case study training? And I showed her where the case study training is. And then it's just like, well, and I was like, well, bring in case. It's like, well, these case studies don't seem like the case studies I'm getting. You want to give me the case studies you're getting? I don't want to share those. Well, how the hell you expect me to help out? So, um, was hilarious. But anyways, if you guys have case studies tomorrow, please go out there and pipe them in. Let's go out there and take a few minutes to go out there and actually just pipe in what are your general interview questions today. But like on a ranking of 1 to 10, how's everybody's mood about the market these days? Huh? How's everybody feeling? How's everybody feeling? Okay, that's a 7. Okay, that's 6 points higher than like the general population that's not in this program. All right. Okay. And then Andrew, I didn't get a chance to go. This is actually my first time getting a chance to go ahead and meet you.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So I've been with Product Gym like 2 years ago, and then I just went to do my own stuff, and I've been applying to jobs, applied to like a few hundred, but my CV didn't work, and now I'm just got back to this whole thing, and it feels like I want to do it again. So I'm kind of a little bit lost, and I just came here to kind of, see what I should be doing to find that job.
All right.
I know it
So
sounds super kind of generic and yeah, but just anything helps.
everybody's feeling okay. If you guys are feeling like shitty or like a little bit low about the market, like it's totally like fine. But I think the most important thing is just staying consistent with your numbers. Um, I will go if you guys have like positions to go out there and reach out to, like I will have like some time at the end of this so we can go out there and just reach out to some people. But generally speaking, right now, expectations I think are very clear. If it's not clear, I'm gonna go out there and reiterate for y'all. Give me a second here before I share my screen. And generally speaking, Michael, thanks for giving me the little hit. Okay, so anyways, so you guys see here, like on the offers channel, I mean, you guys are seeing the offers channel right now, right? Okay, so uh these people are taking jobs in there, and I think the expectation is pretty simple right now. Like you go ahead and do 30 LinkedIn reach outs like a day, and I think the expectation is pretty clear because where most of the roles are just getting hot, actually being done is actually through LinkedIn posts. As you guys can go out there and see, you go to see all posts. Okay. So as you guys can go out there and see, like these are the roles that are getting posted right here. So if you do 30 reach outs a day, we have an Airtable where we scraped up all the postings. There's about more than 50 to 100 a day. And I know a lot of people are not reaching out to people because there's a few days we didn't do it and nobody pinged us. So like if you reach out to 30 to 100 people a day, this is the most direct way. This is like the running club version of getting a job now. All right. It's very simple. 2 mock interviews a day if you're full-time job hunting, or 2 mock interviews a week, and then just 2 case studies a week. Where you're doing 2 case study presentations, and we have more than enough of a proof of concept to go ahead and show that these are people that are taking the jobs. And as you can see from the testimonials, okay, like this guy here, he just pretty much tripled all those numbers, and he was doing Dennis, 300K product manager role over there at Venmo, 25 product manager interviews a week. That's just keeping it very simple. All right. People like other coaches reach out to me and they're like, like how's product gym doing? I was like, great. I pump out about, close to, I think right now we're doing about like 10 YouTube videos a week, generates us X number of calls, generates us X number of conversions. That's it. So like, I was like, yeah, just do that. Yeah. So don't take this passively, people. What are the questions? Everybody pipe up your questions. Any questions at all? CJ, for the time that you're here, I need to appoint you as Sergeant of Arms here. We got to make sure that like questions are coming through.
Okay.
Uh, uh, yeah.
Tell me about a time that you had to tell your customers that they were wrong. Is this a question we want to work through tonight? There's a couple I see in the chat. So from Jessica, I see, how do you know when a feature or release is ready to launch? And feel free to use an example if you want to talk through that. The second question is, could you tell me about a time when you use data or analytics to make a decision or to solve a problem? And so these are mock interview questions everyone wants to walk through? Yes?
Okay, explain a time when a solution was prescribed by
Yeah.
a stakeholder or peer, but you didn't feel it was right approach. What did you do? How did you handle it? Okay. How do you know when a feature? And feel free to use an example if you want to talk through that tonight. Okay. Any other questions for people? What are the questions? What are the questions?
I just see those four right now. Two from
People,
Jessica, two from
you guys should be
Vanessa.
coming in here with like a lot more questions, unless everybody's like an interview rock star right now.
Nothing new yet.
All right, let's get it. Okay, how do you know how do you know when a feature or a release is ready to launch? And feel free to use an example if you want to talk through that. Could you tell me about a time when you use data or analytics to make a decision or solve a problem? Okay, so how do you know when a feature or release is ready to launch? Honestly speaking, what's like the textbook? Okay, so let me tell you this question. Let me tell you this question, this answer from the standpoint of recruiting. Okay. Most of the time, if you're gonna go ahead and actually look up, those tell you like this is how you know a feature or release is ready to go launch. 8 out of 10 of your competitors are gonna say some bullshit like that. Go be different. What you want to say is this: you never really do. Okay. The truth is you don't. Be different. If you act like you know it, you're only gonna make a very you guys gotta understand right now when you guys are interviewing with people, they're burnt out as fuck. You know, so if you're coming in here pretending that you know more information than they do, they're going to be very pissed off. So, like a lot of the false interview content for product management, they don't take into account the other person's mood. You know, I had this one guy at Facebook when I was recruiting for them. Um, he basically, I think he altered this kid's life trajectory. You know, they were doing like the rotational PM interviews, and that guy was just having the worst day ever. He was like, "Oh man, I'm so excited to be interviewing for Facebook. Like, this is the greatest company ever. Like, it's my dream to work." He's like, "Why the fuck do you want to work here? I don't want to work here. I'd rather be anywhere but here. I would leave as far away as I can from this place, from this city." The kid was like, "Well, why?" Yeah, dude. So you guys got to take account for that and always understand, like, you know what I always say, right? Every single question that they're asking you is a problem that they're currently going through right now. You always have to like remind yourself of that. You know, so how do you know if a feature or like release is ready to launch? Honestly speaking, Jessica, if I can be honest with you, you never really know. You know, that right there is immediately going to go ahead and differentiate from the competition. And it's like you honestly never really know based upon here are the few things that we have to analyze. You make your best educated guess based upon number one, the existing data that we have access to at that time, but we also have to make a real-time decision based upon the deadlines that's given to us by the business. Okay. You don't have all year to go out there and ship this shit out. We needed this thing done last Thursday. Okay. So what you do here is we make the best educated decision, we gather the feedback, and then we reiterate or we re-improve. So at some point, time just doesn't stop for anybody. So, tell me, Michael, when you're asking me a question, when I get a question like this on an interview, it's usually a problem that you're dealing with right now in real time. Can you tell me a little bit more about a feature or release that you guys are struggling to really decide, is this right now the time to launch? And what are some of the external pressure that you guys are receiving as to make a decision? A lot of times, like you guys will get pressure from the business side, where it's just like, you know, is it like ready? Well, it's not ready. Well, when is it going to be? How the fuck should I know? Like you don't. So like sometimes like, in any business, you'll actually go out there and have pushback. I'm a very impatient person myself, so I want to know something. And it's just like, sometimes you just don't have the answer to that. And it's all about setting expectations with the information that we have right now. This is the best answer that I can give you. And you also, I think the other thing that people don't talk about a lot in product management is a lot of times you have to stand up to unrealistic expectations, you know. Like for me as a business owner, I love dashboards. You want to know all this data up in real time as much as possible. The truth of the matter is like sometimes people will have to tell me, Rich, we can't get that over to you. And that's not going to happen. Good luck finding somebody else that can. I mean, probably another 2 to 3 weeks, which is about the time that it's going to take you minimum to find my replacement. You can do that. That's the truth, So like, could you tell me about a time when you use data or analytics to make a decision to solve a problem? Oh my gosh, all the time. I use data and analytics, to make a decision to solve pretty much any and every problem that I have, whether I am thinking about which Netflix movie I'm going to chill out to this weekend. If it's on the top 10 list, I give it a little bit more time. But using it generally speaking, like if honestly speaking, make it humorous, right? Sometimes these textbook answers they make you sound too robotic. That's clearly not what's getting to people the job. There's a lot of very qualified people out there that are still looking for work. And yet, like our people are getting the job. Why? Because we're answering these questions differently. Oh, all the time. From which YouTubers I'm thinking about listening to for beauty tips down to like which restaurant I'm thinking about making a reservation for this Friday night. You're utilizing data all the time to go out there and evaluate. Like, so give me again, turn it back on them. That's the whole point of these mock interviews, right? Turn it back on them. Okay, what problem are you trying to solve right now, or a decision that you're trying to make where you're trying to figure out how to utilize data and analytics to either make that decision or solve that problem. And, make it fun with them, have more of a conversation on what data do we have access to right now. When we're making a decision as to what types of YouTube videos to go ahead and drop to compete against our competitors, we're like, all right, here are here are 16 ways to go out there and land your next product manager job. Perfect. Here are 66 ways to land your next product manager job. We'll go out there and trump them with, more, right? So give me a second here. Okay, tell me about a time when you had to tell your customers that they were wrong. Oh my gosh, all the time. Fortunately speaking, customers not always right. That's actually happens more often than not. So tell me about a time when you had to tell your customers that they were wrong. All the time. Unfortunately, a lot of the time that the customer is actually not always right. sometimes talking to customers can feel like you're talking to children. And those of us that have kids realize that we can't give into what our children want. Sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, it feels like talking to children for me too. It's like you guys are supposed to be professionals, or I mean, yeah, that's the thing. When people want something, they become childish. So that they were wrong. I think the most important thing for me is actually phrasing up the expectations the right way and actually understanding what are they trying to get at the heart of the problem. Um, you don't need to give very long explanations for any of these problems, questions too. It's very simply done. Explain a time when a solution was prescribed by a stakeholder or peer, but you did not feel it was the right approach. What did you go ahead and do, and how did you go ahead and handle it? Um, this is actually a trick question that was designed to mess you up. So, you know which part of this question is the trick question? Because is actually the word.
Fail.
Which, huh?
Oh, I was gonna say fail was the right.
The music to my ears. That's where the tripwire is. That is exactly where you'll be screaming out IED. Boom. Okay. Feel. As a product manager, you're not supposed to feel anything, right? So when they're saying like, oh, explain a time when a solution was prescribed by a stakeholder or peer, but you didn't feel like it was the right approach. What'd you do about it? Honestly, Vanessa, of course, as human beings, we all have feelings, but as a product manager, I put those feelings aside. I always utilize data and the analytics that I have access to. And I will ask that person, even if of course, I'm not going to tell you I don't feel anything about anything. I would always go ahead and ask, like, hey, Andrew, why is it that why do you feel like that is the right why do you feel like that is the right solution or that is the right course? And what data or what analytics do you have to back up this assumption? Do we have data? And let's just say that he didn't have data, right? A lot of times what people do in the world of tech is we're doom scrolling on Instagram and we're like, oh shit, Lyft is doing that. And then we walk into the meeting at Uber. You know what we should do? Oh, more dumb fucking ideas have come out of some MBA grad coming out of a cold plunge. Yo, guys, I got this. Shut the fuck up. No, you don't. No, like it's that's a very important that you actually have that. That's a very important that you have that understanding. Is like you have the understanding that like okay, that's not the best course of action. So what you want to go ahead and do is you want to ask them, well, that's so interesting, Michael. How did you come to that conclusion? Where did this idea come from? What data do you have to back it up? Do you know if any of our competitors doing it? I will go out there and ask them questions because if it is a legitimately good idea, then it's something that we should go ahead and do. But we also have to weigh that against our current priorities. So, product management, what makes it ineffective is actually human beings. A lot of ideas, they actually don't go all the way to the very end because it's just like you get this new idea, you get this new idea. When I first started Product Gym, that was 8 years ago, it's like we'll see somebody doing something on TikTok and we'll be like, oh, we got to go on TikTok. Or we'll see somebody doing something like on Twitter. It's like, oh, we got to go all in on Twitter. The truth of the matter is like, when I talk to a lot of marketing experts, they're like, Rich, just do YouTube more. So now it's just like we're very dominant on YouTube, but it's like just focus on that one thing. And then like we're actually very new to the Instagram game as a business, but we're learning quickly from our competitors. Um, Focus on the one or two things. And also like I think like I posted up on my own Instagram IG stories. There was a guy that like a Turkish guy. He's crushing it right now. Uh, he's the CEO of. It's on my story. You guys can go ahead and follow if you guys want. But like he made sure that like Rolls-Royce was profitable within 2 years of taking it over. I think they're gonna name him like one of the top CEOs of like Europe. But I love studying shit like that, where it's just like, and they're like, what'd you guys do differently? He's like, I fired all the managers. He's like, I fired all the managers first. And then the next thing I did was I made sure I was eating lunch with the on the ground staff every single day, just listening to them. And he's like, people were just telling me the first week, like how many dumb ideas were coming out every single day that they couldn't keep up with. So he's like, where do these dumb ideas come from? They're like middle management. Like, so we should just get rid of all of them, right? And people are like, yeah. That's what we did. So he's like, I was asking like, the sales staff, like, you guys are talking to the customer. How do you guys feel? They're like, this is a dumb idea. This is a dumb idea. This is a dumb idea. And he was like, then I was talking to the engineering team. They're like, this is a dumb idea. He's like, all right. He's like, I wrote up on a whiteboard. He's like, we got very, very, very old school. We wrote up on a whiteboard. What are the three most important things? He's like, that's all we focus on. That's all we do here. And the guy literally, he was like, that's all we focus on. Anybody else has any other new ideas, unless we're making any one of those three KPIs better, we just tell them to shut the fuck up. And he's like, that's it. And he's like, yeah, we added an extra $700 billion in rev within the first 12 months of me coming. I was like, honestly speaking, it's not that difficult. Actually, that's actually why like a lot of product managers, they prefer to leave big tech and they want to go to a startup, because startup, you have less resources, you're more focused. At a big tech, you have all these like elite MBA grads. Every single day, somebody feels like they have a $1 billion idea, right? And it's just like like you're working to understand like when they're asking you this question, when they're like asking you this question, sometimes it's because they they have a disagree. I've actually saw somebody land a product manager job because the product manager that asked this question was getting bullied by the engineering lead. And they're actually, you guys always have to think, why are they asking this question? Every question they ask is something that's very selfish. Like when people ask me, like, so where do most of the people at Product Gym get a job? They don't give a fuck where they get the jobs. They care about where they're going to get a job, right? We hosted up this event in New York at a happy hour. It's called How to Transition from Finance to Product Management. We've been in New York for 8 years. This is where we're headquartered. This is our backyard. So it was like, so I bought drinks for like, 40 some product managers that came from every investment bank you can imagine. And like, investment bankers, they're like the most honest people ever, especially in New York. They're like, no, I don't give a fuck if all of Manhattan's a product. I mean, I care about whether or not I'm going to be a product manager. Like, I don't give a shit. That guy's working at, I mean, fuck that guy. Am I working at Spotify? Like, that's the truth. People care about themselves, right? So you got to think, like, why is this person? Because the more they feel like you care about them, the more they feel like you're giving a shit about their situation. And of course, they're not going to go ahead and admit it on a job description. Yo, man, I'm getting beaten up like a bad stepchild here by this like Russian tech lead. I feel like I'm in a mafia meeting every single day, negotiating territory. We're just slowly losing ground every single week. I don't have a lot of turf left. They're not going to say that shit, right? So like I saw this guy ask more questions and I saw this guy ultimately take the job. It was like, like why do why did you feel like you needed me it's actually coming to my memory right now. Slightly hungover, by the way. It is morning time here in Korea. This is the second highest drinking country per capita after Russia. Even now with the invasion. But yeah, it's kind of coming back to me. He's like, so let me ask you this. Like what Kel, like, why are you asking me this question? Is everything okay? And the guy's like, honestly, there's a lot of people I disagree with, man, but because I don't, I mean, I transitioned to product management. This is like 9 years ago when I first entered into recruiting. That kind of gave me the idea of starting my own business of helping people transition. He's like, I'm getting bullied right now, up, down, left, right, and center, and they just turn like I don't even have any firepower to fire back. But this person started off as at the time, it's still very popular now, is they started off as the chief of staff. So, the CEOs or the founders like, yo, chief of staff, our head of product just quit. You should be the new head of product. You know everybody here. uh, okay, congratulations. You just got a promotion. Does that come with the pay bump? No, it does not. But it does. It is a promotion, right? It's a very common attacker. So this person is getting ripped. So you want to go out there and ask them, like, man, that's horrible. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go to those meetings for you. And you really? Yeah. I'm not gonna let I'm not gonna let anybody fuck with you. Ain't nobody gonna be fucking with you again. You got to be like unconventional if you want to get a product manager job, especially these days. They're looking for a partner in crime. That was actually how they trained us in recruiting. This is how the skills they gave me afforded me the ability to start a seven-figure business. They're like, you owe us an invoice, Rich. But they're like, when you're interviewing for a product manager, they're looking for a partner in crime. Like they're looking for an ally. Like, how are you going to help us out? Every person that you interview with is looking for something from you. So this is actually going out for like some of you guys that are transitioning to product management. Engineers are always looking for more resources because they don't, really want to work hard. Like UX designers are always looking for more time because they always feel like they need more time to go out there and like, deliver, a work of art or whatever. The CFO is always looking for more is always looking for you to not spend more money. The CFO, having worked at like a few WeWorks around the world, because every time I travel to do a talk with product management, I use my, American Express Global Access to get access to WeWork. I'm trying to get sponsored by Amex, but I've been pumping out content hard for those guys. But like, whenever you see like the CFO or the financial controller, if you see them stressed out, but everybody else is fist pumping, you know something's wrong with the business. But yeah, so you have that. Always ask them like how's it going? All these questions. Don't compete off of don't compete off of um experience. If you're competing off of experience, you guys will lose. Competing against experience is like you guys are in the same startup competing against one of Mark Cuban or Elon Musk's sons. You guys don't have enough ammunition. I said that shit then when the market was good, but now when the market is obviously, taking a head towards south, you have a lot of qualified people out there that are competing against experience. You want to compete against empathy. That's what's getting our people the top level jobs is because honestly speaking, what I made a business off of here is this is OnlyFans for product management job hunters. That's really what it is. you know, this is OnlyFans for product management job hunters, like I see you guys like staying up mad late listening to this Asian guy just talk pure shit. That's it. That's my job. You know, I'm gonna do a damn fine thing doing it too. So like you gotta understand, like when people are asking these questions right now, if you're competing against experience, you just sound like everybody else. You gotta be different. If you want to stand out from the competition, you cannot be answering these questions the way that everybody else is answering these questions. Because that cracking the PM interview book, who the fuck in product management doesn't have 25 bucks to get a Kindle? That book was published in 2013. That means they started talking about it in 2009. This is a decade and a half before people did pre-publishing online. Nowadays, people just write this shit up on ChatGPT and drop a PDF, right? You got to understand that everybody right now that's working in the business that's hiring you guys, they read that book too. So when you're coming in with the same playbook, they're like, okay, chapter 8. Yeah, I remember reading that when I was looking for a product manager job. It just doesn't sound original, you know? Why is Korean content hot right now? Because it's just different. That's just what most like a lot of the Korean content that like it's amazing to me. Like white people find amazing, like Korean people just don't because they've been seeing it for 3 decades. But it's new. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. So if you want to be different, be different. All right. So Tell me about when you are joining a new team as a product manager, one of the key stakeholders haven't responded to your request. Oh, Michael, this is definitely they're having this problem, right? You're joining a new team as a product manager. One of the key stakeholders hasn't responded to your request for meetings. This motherfucker's been ghosting you, right? Like, members of your product team stated that this stakeholder wants to derail your product. How do you approach this scenario? Well, clearly, if we could have terminated this piece of shit, we would have. But we haven't yet, right? So it's just like you want to go out there and tackle this question like that. All right, so let me get this straight, Mike. And always address people's first names as much as possible. How to win friends and influence people. That's actually one of the key things. They made sure we were reading that every single day in management for recruiting. They're like, that should be, my boss used to say this, that should be freaking required reading before you leave high school. But like you're joining a new team. Okay, so like one of the key stakeholders, Michael, this sounds to me like it's going on right now. Is it? And if so, how long has it been going on? And who is this person? Because my guess is they can't fire this guy or girl. Man, it's been going on for way too long, Rich. I'm telling you, man. Yes, and you're totally right. If we could have fired this motherfucker, we would have, right? We fucking why not? Freaking founders, brother. You got to get though. You got to that job description is very surface level. You got to get deep. You got to think of yourself right now when you're interviewing for a job. You were like an FBI hostage rescue person, and you know the son of a U.S. senator just got kidnapped. That's how you got to look at it. You got to walk into that room and you got to be like this. All right, where's the last time we saw the kid? I need to talk to the senator right now. Do you know who did this? All right. Usually when something like this goes down, it's somebody we know. Are you having an affair, Senator? No, I'm not having an affair. Are you sure? Because now is the time to tell me. All right, I'm having an affair. What about your wife? Is she having an affair? We have something called an open. You got to know. All right. That job description does not clearly highlight all the interpersonal bullshit and the politics that goes on in this business. Product management, you guys are probably spending 12% of your time doing real work. Most of the time, you're just navigating pieces of shit, egos, and assholes. All right. That's all it is. You're just playing interpersonal jujitsu with this guy while you're punching this other guy in the face, grabbing the gun, and just John Wicking the other guy in the shoulder. And that's it. You know, because Americans, you guys are feelers, right? In Korea, product management here, there's no emotion involved. There's every guy here when they're 18 got to go to the military. We just come in here shipping shit out. You know, in America, it's like, all right, I feel like we're going in the wrong direction. Oh, you're feeling like we're going in the wrong direction. You got any data to pack that shit up? No, I don't, but I feel like we're going in the wrong direction, right? That's the truth. So you got to go out there and ask them, okay, what is this person not saying yes to? What type of meetings are you requesting with this person and they don't want to go to? Right now, a lot of people, they're still not going into the office. Why? Because it's a stressful time to work in tech. Yo, I don't want to be stressed out with people at the office. I'm already stressed out enough at home. And that's what a lot of companies are doing. Shit's going bad right now. We need to see each other face to face. And you know what's happening? People are going into the office saying, fuck hell, I'm here. What's the game plan? I don't know. We need to think of something though. You had me fucking take a train into the city for this shit. I mean, I was already feeling this way at home, but now I got to pay for lunch. I wouldn't do that, you know. So when I talked to like all the recruiting teams, they're telling companies that want to rally people back into the office, give people a fucking reason to come in instead of we're stressed out as fuck. So let's get stressed out together in person. That's not exactly a winning. Because people have been saying, like, yeah, I know the job market's bad. Dude, fucking fire me, man. I can't do my mental health. It's not that I don't want to come in. I emotionally cannot handle being in the office right now. Yeah, dude, you're seeing it. You guys all have friends in tech. Half you guys are dating somebody working in tech right now. You know what the first thing they do after they get laid off? Go take a trip. Yeah, I'm broke as fuck. I have no money coming in, but I can't. Right? So you got to go out there and ask them, what kind of meetings are you asking this person to come to? A lot of times when people are asking people to come to meetings, they don't want to go to those meetings because they feel like it's just going to be a stress session. So you got to take all this stuff up into context. You give out some bullshit robotic answer is like, well, what I do is I automate. Somebody actually came into a meeting like that. I remember all these questions, they bring up memories from my recruiting days. They're like, well, I set up an automated reminder on Slack. It's not that they don't know you want to meet, motherfucker. They just don't want to meet. Setting up an automated Slack message. Now I'm just not checking any Slack messages from Kel, period. I'm not going to leave you on red. That shit could be red as fuck. I'm still not going to take a look at it, right? You know? So yeah, so like 100%. Yeah, so like you want to go out there and ask them, like, okay, so here's what I'd go ahead and do. You know, when hiring managers give me when somebody's asking me a question like this on an interview, chances are they're going through a problem like that right now. So are you going through a problem like that? Is there a meeting that you're trying to get somebody to come to, but unfortunately they're not responding? Or is there a meeting that you're being requested to go to, but you don't really want to go on? Okay, here's my solution to that problem. I will get that person to come to the meeting, or I will go to that meeting for you. One of the key ways we've been getting people jobs is I will go ahead and go to all the meetings you don't want to go to. Oh, thank fucking God. So I don't want to go to half these. Perfect. You know, because most meetings are just dumb. You know, they're just really stupid. So asking the interviewer questions and making a conversation is always 100%. The more they can feel like they can talk to you, again, they're looking for a product therapist. They're not looking for a product manager. If you guys want to be a product manager, you know, have fun hanging out with the people that are on the unemployment line bitching about how bad the market is. You know, if you want to get jobs that are paying like top dollar, how do we want, here's the thing, how do we want people to feel about getting, like, about hiring you? You want them, we're piping up multiple offers. This is the thing that people just don't understand. And I'm determined to tell you this. This is the good news. We get so many calls from people that say, like, I don't see the value in this program. Perfect. Stay unemployed. You're making it so much easier for my people to get the job because we want them leaving that interview saying, holy shit. All right, recruiter, Rich, I need a fucking DocuSign sent out to this motherfucker ASAP Rocky right now. That's how we want them to feel. In order for us to feel that way, they got to feel good and feel very excited about you. 9 out of 10 of your competitors are dropping more product management lingo than they need, makes them sound like a freaking robot. Product managers don't use that much terminology when they're talking normally, anyways. You're making this conversation very weird. Sounds like you're overcompensating for something. If they feel like they can talk to you, you want to know what's the difference between this and like all of the coaching calls now, they're on the YouTube. We're posting it all on YouTube. You want to know why our competition still hasn't been able to replicate this? Because you can't replicate me. I'm gonna get on here and say fuck this, fuck him, fuck you. I'm gonna go out there and say that fucking asshole. You fucking think what? You know what? People love that shit. They fucking do. And honestly, you want them on the interview to feel that comfortable to be like, all right, so we just hired this new tech lead last year named CJ. Fuck, man, I can't deal with this motherfucker. You want them to say that because that's something they could never put on the job description. Why do you think hiring managers reach out to me? Because they can't tell their fucking recruiter, I'm trying to replace this guy. I need this. It's like you're meeting up with somebody from a rival gang and you're paying them to kill one of the guys that's in your own gang. You can't let anybody else ever find out. All right, he goes to the sauna every Thursday night. I need you guys to make it happen. That's the truth. Most of the time, the biggest reason why product teams fail is because of ego and personality. You have one person that's being very dominant, and it usually comes down to, this is why I think like it's so hilarious. People are studying so much about how to ship product when they're not studying people. They should really be studying people. Is like somebody feels compelled that we're going this way, and the whole team knows that's the wrong way, but nobody can stand up to that one individual. That's like the biggest problems that are in product teams is ego. And you know, and honestly speaking, that person is wielding the most power because of XYZ reason, and nobody's like thinking about how do I remove that. Why do you think House of Cards was such a hot show? It was, honestly speaking, it's just like you're watching 8 seasons of this dude maneuver how to get people to kill themselves, right? That's honestly like your ability to navigate politics is so important. That's why a lot of software engineers, they don't want to be product managers. They would rather just deal with code because it's easier to deal with problems than it is to deal with people. I'd rather deal with a problem rather than dealing with a person I don't want to deal with all day. So like, yeah, there you go. So like when you're asking this question is like, okay, so here's what I'll go ahead and do, Mike. When you're getting me a question like this, chances are like you're going through this problem right now. And if you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and tell me what's the real deal. But this is exactly how I would handle it because this is a very common occurrence throughout all product teams. I would actually confront that person and I would want to understand, okay, well, why is this person not coming to this meeting? And chances are it's not a meeting they want to go to. So I would give them a reason to want to come. And honestly speaking, one of the most popular questions of all is, how do you influence stakeholders without authority? What is your leadership style as a product manager? You guys already know those are two very common questions that you're going to get all the time. Is like, how do you deal with people? How do you deal with people? Because people are difficult. So what, 80% of the Fortune 500 CEOs have a sales background? 80% of the Fortune 500 CEOs have a sales background because you're constantly trying to get yes from people that don't want to say yes to you. And people are assholes. They wake up every single day feeling something different. Well, yesterday I felt like that, and today I don't know. It's difficult. So make it conversational. Make them feel. To back it up, Jessica. Make them feel comfortable to talk to you. The one of the things is like you don't have to compete with experience. There's people that are underqualified that are getting hired all the time. And then there's also people that are overqualified that are getting rejected all the time. You know what's the key difference is? The common denominator of getting hired and getting multiple offers is people feel like you're relatable. People feel like they can go ahead and talk to you. If they feel comfortable talking to you about their problems, then your chances of getting hired goes up exponentially. It really does. Like people that's like the first things first is like they got to know you, like you, and trust you, right? So all of those things, like how do I get people to know me? Like how do I get them to like me? How do I get people to trust me? Right. Right. Well, honestly speaking, is like all those things happen is like they got to feel like they can go ahead and talk to you. If they feel more comfortable talking to you, if they then like that's when they want to work with you because chances are right now they they like they don't really feel like they have anybody to talk to. Like I'm very blessed like to be a business owner. Like everybody on my team I like. If I don't like you, you're just not here. But I feel like I feel like everybody here is like really good at their job. And I also feel like I can be on just the job. I can also talk to my team members. I like to think that my team members can talk to each other. And I like to think my team members can also go out there and talk to me. But yeah, it's not like in the startup environment. That's why a lot of people enjoy startups so much more than the big tech companies, is everything gets more corporate. Like when you hire like a software compliance officer, that's when things start getting more corporate AF. It stops becoming fun. So stop focusing on how to get the job and start focusing on how to make the calls like fun. I'm not afraid of my competition, and I've been live streaming since like January. Quite frankly, it's, I enjoy it. I found a field that celebrates and validates me. Talking to you guys is quite therapeutic for myself as well. I get paid an hour to talk shit. After that, I'm gonna go get lunch. I'm gonna go do a little Pilates, and then I'm gonna doom scroll for 4 hours, take a nap, get dinner, do 2 more calls in New York, and go to bed. Wake up, do this shit all over again for the case study thing. Like if you take a look at when we did Andrew, just to give you some context, I think like a few weeks ago we did at the beginning of the year, I did like a group resume review with everybody, right? It was like a 3-hour review. So Thursdays I also do resume reviews. So if you have a resume, like come bring it in. I was like, the whole thing is like we're going into like a high stress work environment right now. Make your resume more fun. Make it like put more of your personality on your resume. People putting all these bullshit metrics, they know you're not delivering those numbers right now. Like even if you did, that was when the market was good. Like it's different. Like I sold 100 houses when the market was good. I mean, he's selling 100 houses in 2025. Like, I don't think you are, right? Unless you figured out something we haven't, you know, like, alcohol sales dropped by 70%, across the board. Like younger people are not drinking really right now. I think it's a combination between like people being a little bit more introverted, people going out less, people focusing more on wellness, but also people not having money to pop bottles anymore, right? So like if you're like a whiskey company and you're asking the vodka guys like, hey, what are you guys doing to move money? And you're asking the tequila guys, what do you no, it's like 70% across the board. You're really spending money on alcohol. Like I don't know how these nightclubs used to be one recession-proof ass business, but like, I mean, they can fight against a bad market because people usually drink more when things are bad, but if people just like never thought you'd say this, like people are not drinking it. Uh, like if people 70% of the market for cocaine decided they just didn't want to do cocaine anymore, it's like, oh shoot, I guess we got to go back to shipping coffee down here in Colombia, right? Or like we got to make this a tourist destination, right? But like, yeah, like, so even if you're doing those numbers before, you're clearly not doing those numbers like right now. So like right now, we know in product management, people are working way more. We know in product management, people have less human resources. They have less people to work with. We also know they have less financial resources, and they're constantly losing resources, right? So it's a high stress work environment. So nobody's actually thinking. Nobody's actually thinking like we're in a wartime environment right now. I mean, imagine you were a hotel manager at one of the best hotels in New York and in Miami, and they're like, can you do the same thing for us here in Baghdad? No, because it's a war zone. We are right now in a wartime in tech. Like like some magazine, I forgot. It was like New York Times or some shit, or Bloomberg. It's like, how did tech go from everybody's dream job to the worst to the worst industry ever to work in? And yeah, you guys are not used to like feeling this way, right? Yeah, I totally feel you guys, and I'm here for you guys. So like 100%, people are still booking interviews, but people are still getting jobs. But you guys have to understand, like, how people interviewed during and that's what's going to be the case study call tomorrow. Is if you guys are going into these case studies talking about how you guys are going to go out there and drop hot numbers like that, you guys are just going to aggravate, because what the key to case studies, the key to case studies is going to go ahead and be this. They want to know if you guys can go out there and deliver on an end result, and chances are you don't know if you can. They don't know you can. They're making the best decision based upon the data that they have access to right now. That's just a fact. They're making that based upon the data that they have right now. So with that said, what you want to go ahead and do for tomorrow's call is everybody should go out there and try to grab one case study. Look for one online if you guys don't have one. If you guys have active interviews right now, you guys should think about creating a case study. Pop into ChatGPT. One of our guys got a product manager job at I'm blanking out on his name, so we've been putting up so many offers, but he got a product manager job at a diabetes app. And what he just did was he just interviewed like I think 15, 20 friends and family members that have diabetes, and they asked them like, what do you think about this app? And in America, it's actually not hard to find 20 people with diabetes, right? It's really not. I mean, come on. Have you been at a Dunkin' Donuts recently? Like, it's not difficult here, you know. But that's actually how we got somebody into Peloton too. They're like, Peloton had this app, right? And he just and that guy took the idea from that other dude. This is why these community coaching sessions are so important. Is like he's just like I just asked my friends that never heard of Peloton before what they think about this app. And these are my 5 friends that actively go to Soul, that actively they are gym members at SoulCycle. Like, oh, like bring in a case study. I think like sometimes law of intention is very important, right? Are you guys like expecting? Are you guys like actually expecting to get the case study? Some people are like, oh, I'll worry about that when I get the case study. Well, do you want this job? If you expect to take that job, then you should expect to get that case study. And you should be thinking about how that case study is. Take a look at when presidents are running out there. They don't say, if I get elected, when I'm your president, we're going to make America better than ever. We're going to make America win again. There's going to be so much winning. You guys are going to be like, this is too much winning. That's all, that's all really running for president is, right? It's a hype show. you know so that's what you guys want to go out there and do is like when these case studies come out, like think about what kind of case, like don't wait for me to bring in a case study like, oh no, you guys have companies you guys want to work at. Okay. uh there was a girl that I saw that was like manifesting that she was going to work at Spotify, and she actually got the job there. She was already getting her case study ready before she was applying. you know so she sent over a resume with a Spotify template. Like it was Spotify font. It was green. We all know what Spotify is, right? She put the Spotify logo on the top left corner of her resume. She was doing everything that she was to get that job, right? And that's what I'm gonna end it off with today is we gotta go ahead and actually like I'm gonna post up this clip on my IG. But like, Kel's been following me on IG. Like, half the time I'm just posting up like this motivational shit. And it's like I saw this thing with Joe Rogan. He's like, you want to know how you change your life? This is what you do. You set aside a little bit of money that gives you a window in how long you have to live. And outside of your shit job, every minute, you gotta attack that motherfucker like your life depends on it. You gotta attack that fucking shit like you're trying to save the fucking world. No holds bar. Get it, get it, get it. And that's the thing, I dropped this thing. I was like, I always tell people this. People say the market's bad. Okay. People say the market's bad. And I was like, all right, if I gave you $100,000 cash in a Louis Vuitton duffel bag, and I said, get a $200,000 product manager job in 30 days, could you do it? Think about that. you know, I freaking drive up to your house, nicely suited, like I was from Squid Game. And I say, here is $100,000 cash money in a Louis Vuitton duffel bag. And you popped open that duffel bag and you're like, shit, this motherfucker's not lying. It's $100,000 cash money right here. Because $100,000 in a stack of hundreds, okay? 1 inch is 10 grand. Every Asian kid learns this growing up. And you saw 10 inches in a Louis Vuitton duffel bag. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. This is $100,000 cash money You know, you'd have to give me back the. You guys would totally be able to get this job. Okay, some of you guys would be able to get this job in a week. Did I lose you guys?
We can
Video
hear
is
you,
frozen,
but you're
we can hear
frozen.
you.
While we waiting, I have a quick question if anybody knows. Those screenshots that Rich sometimes shows when we're on the call about examples of how people sent messages that got feedback or responses, is that in Circle somewhere that we can review it? Because I can't find the video.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. My phone's like okay. I don't know. Is it because like I record so much? But anywho, yeah, if I gave you guys $100,000 cash money in a Louis Vuitton duffel bag, you guys probably be able to get the job like ASAP Rocky. So the truth of the matter is we don't have really a market issue. We have a motivation issue, right? And that's just because you guys are not that turned on about getting a job. Honestly, it's just like, you know. Arg. Are you guys there? Are you guys there? Da, 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 da.
Yes, we're here.
Oh my gosh. All right. It's with a heavy heart that unfortunately I have to leave this apartment. But that's the good thing about doing month to month in the motherland. But I love this unit. I really do. And I love this neighborhood. But this is like equivalent to me not having freaking ammunition in the chamber. I need Wi-Fi to go out there and maintain this lifestyle. Okay, case studies tomorrow, fam. Go after it, get it. I think I saw Vanessa. Did you post up a time for everybody to do group apply?
Group apply, no, but we kind of
Vanessa?
accounted for the, oh, can you hear me? One moment.
What happened? Oh, just
Can you hear me? Oh, you're frozen.
I can hear
Okay.
you.
There's a buffer time sent
All
to
right, sorry, team. I'm gonna have to fix this situation. Yeah, I can hear that.
Okay. There's a buffer time set. Currently have it running daily 5:30 to up to 8:30. So far since we started the call, we've used it primarily for some mock and behavioral case study questions. And I think once we get into a more regular cadence, we're gonna start counting time for apps and outreach.
Got it. Okay, I responded to you, Abel. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna try to go out there and sort this Wi-Fi situation. It was consistent for like 2 weeks. Freaking hey, this is worse than freaking. I've never had this problem before except for Thailand. Anyways, that was a blur. I will go ahead and talk to you guys all tomorrow. Andrew, welcome back,
Yeah.
my friend.
Thank
Okay.
you. Just one
Uh,
quick question, if you don't mind. How do
shoot.
I get invite to all other calls? Like I only have invite to this one, not tomorrow ones, and maybe someone else can help me just send a link or something.
Plexi, can we go, pretty please, can we go ahead and help out Mr. Zappo here?
Yes, please. And yeah, nice meeting you, Richard.
Nice meeting you too. It's like it's funny how all the people that Kel, you actually fortunate, you and I got to go ahead and meet. I actually I've not met, with the exception of Abel and Michael, I've not met Andrew here, Jessica. They all talk to one of the admissions team members. People are like, why don't you talk to all of them? I was like, I got time for that shit, man. Freaking some people just freaking hit us up looking for free therapy. Horrible. Okay. That's the link. We're gonna fix the calendar invite situation too. But we posted up also on Circle, like, hey, this is the time. But like Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, same time. Cool. Okay. All right.
Gotcha. Thank
Thank you
you.
guys so much. I'll go out there and see you guys tomorrow. Remember, you guys only one application, one interview away. I announced it earlier in the week, but Izzy just landed 210K product manager job. We're gonna try to see if we can get that thing up to the most recent offer, Izzy Wang. We're gonna go out there and try to get that thing up to 230 or more. But the rates are still there. I think we're all just, we're stronger together. Uh, we're stronger together, and let's get it. Let me see here. Can we have the same? Can we have the same LinkedIn message templates posted on? You guys do. You guys actually have the better ones, dude. Like, give me a second here. Um,
Yeah, because I see the ones in school with all the
yeah.
screenshots. This is related to what you're asking about, Jessica. But I don't know where to find it in Circle or the other course
Hang on. I found
platform.
this. Okay, give me a second here. This is why you guys got to get all your questions up front, because this Wi-Fi situation here is literally like, do you read me, mobile one? Did we lose mobile? Fuck. The best questions come out at the end. And that's problematic. I'm gonna have to leave this. Anyways, I'm updating this right now. I added like an extra 25 onto here. Um, I added like an extra 25 onto here, and then give me a second. Uh, this is the message. Give me a second here. Let me see if I can just go out there and add this PDF really quick. Where is the okay. Can we load up on Zoom messages PDFs?
What do you mean by that?
Can we like just like put an attachment on the Zoom chat?
You should be able to. Everyone has to pull it down though. When you close the Zoom, the chat disappears. So if people are waiting on you to send something, they need to get it when you send it. And if it's just text, you use the bullets at the top to save the chat.
Okay. Did
Yeah,
did
so
did
it's here and then we'll be able to download it. You just
okay.
have to
So
save it to your
you
machine.
guys want to, yeah, download it before I get knocked out. All right. Wi-Fi support is here. That is one thing that is good about this country. Though they send somebody up immediately. New York, they just tell you go fuck yourself.
Yeah, the file came through. As long as you download it, it should open once you save it.
네, 와이파이 안 되네요. Does everybody have this now? PDF? We're good?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Andrew, welcome back. We got you. Don't worry
Thank
about it.
you.
Turnaround time's been about 45 days. I mean, you guys are hanging out with me 3 days a week. You guys not planning to hang out here beyond 45 days. All right. So hopefully right after tax season, you'll have a job. Talk to you guys all soon. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Sorry about the Wi-Fi.
Have a good
See
day.
you guys. Bye.
Bye.